Welcome traders to this very first episode of Finotive Funding interview series. And today we have Samuel, who is from India, and also he's been a trader and also an affiliate of Finotive Funding. Welcome, Samuel.
Welcome. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How have you been? How are you doing today?
Oh, good. It's as you see, it's right now nighttime where I'm at, but it's fantastic to be here with you guys.
Great, great. Awesome to have you. So let's start with a very traditional introduction. Can you just introduce yourself to the public?
Yep. So I'm Samuel Derek Cunningham. That's my full name. So the way I look wouldn't refer to the Cunningham name,
Yeah.
but yes, I'm what you would call an Anglo-Indian in India. So that's
Okay.
half British, half Indian. So
Okay.
the British side is from my dad's side, and the Indian side is from my mom's side.
Uh-huh.
So I'm 24. I will be 25 in a few months, and I've been trading for the last 6 years. I've been trading right out of school, and I worked a job at KPMG for 6 months, which, of course, as a trader, you don't want to work that 9 to 5, right? And after working for that 6 months, it confirmed that I wanted to be a trader,
Yeah.
and I continued pursuing trading. But yeah, that's a basic of me. I've studied till my undergrad. I've done my bachelor's in business administration, and so yeah, that's basically a background of who I am.
Great, great. That's awesome to hear. So let's dive into your journey of trading, okay? So many traders have unique beginnings, as we all know, and some stumble into it, unexpectedly, and they just find out about it and they start it. But like while others have a more deliberate approach, So can you just share with me how you found your way into the world of trading?
So honestly, since I've listened to a few interviews, I find a similarity with a lot of other traders, which is this one beautiful market called, binary options,
Yeah.
which has brought a lot of us traders into it. When you're 18 in school and you're seeing ads like turn $10 into $100 with IQ options,
Yeah.
you click those ads, right? You see how you can make
Yeah.
money. And I'm an IQ option product because I deposited $10, you turn it into $25, you're like, wow, I'm a legend. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
a millionaire in no time, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way I began. I started with IQ options. I think in India they were doing a huge marketing campaign. So like in every app there was IQ options, everything. Everything we opened there was IQ options. So I tried my hand at IQ options and a few other binary option apps. But as you know, that's just not the way to go. All those 1 minute contracts, etc. But um, that is what led me into the financial markets. That's how I saw it. So, taking you through my journey, IQ options was the first. Then I think you would have heard of this YouTuber called Trade with Rainer,
I'm not
where
familiar with it.
no, from
Uh-huh.
okay. He does all these basic videos, but I watched his videos. I was like, wow, wonderful. Maybe I could learn a thing or two from there. And so I learned support and resistance. I was like, oh, wow, teacup pattern,
Great, yeah.
all kinds of very interesting patterns
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
bring
yeah,
about.
yeah.
But um, for me personally, I never grew into those patterns because I was just trying to understand how the market flowed because I still wasn't sure of how the market flowed.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought those patterns were kind of like a cheat code or something that they were trying to bring up,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but I was still
Fair.
trying to learn the fundamentals of how it works.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then, of course, YouTube trading came along. I started watching account flips, and you're like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Started
yeah.
stacking positions, started blowing accounts,
Yeah.
and I don't know. There are different guys who call themselves FX goats and stuff in the industry.
Yeah.
But I came to a point where I was about to give up trading. All right. So I was right
We've
at
all been
this
there, I
point.
guess, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just out of just no, I was just in college. I had just entered college, and I had blown a lot of pocket money. In India, you really don't get to work a job,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so it was only what pocket money I had from what my parents had given me. So, um, lost a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
and I was about to give up on trading. And that day I was scrolling through YouTube, and I saw an account called Wix Don't Lie, and I think that's a very familiar name for most of us traders.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's Raja Banks, the man himself. And I personally give credit where credit is due.
Mm-hmm.
And I say Raja Banks is the one who kept me in trading, because I was like, okay, if a person is doing it live, no way.
Crazy, yeah.
No way someone is doing it live.
Yeah,
And I used to copy, I used to follow the plan.
yeah.
You follow him, you take the wins that he takes, you take the losses that he takes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I always give credit where it's due. And he taught me a lot about market structure and breakout trading, because that's primarily what he does. So
Uh-huh.
I became a breakout trader, and I primarily traded only just the breakouts.
Nice.
And
That's great.
so that's what I would say would move me from a losing trader to a break-even trader. I wouldn't say it
Awesome.
made me a profitable
Yeah.
trader, but
Mm-hmm.
it brought me to a break-even trader point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, coming forward a few years, you find out, all these funding companies are coming up, all these different strategies, ICT, SMC,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
name
Yeah.
it. There's even there was one strategy that I learned, which was the guerrilla trading
Uh-huh.
strategy. They're a
Yeah.
big, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're also pretty good, honestly, with the way they do it. It's just that for me personally, I didn't like the amount of time they would take to find the trade.
Yeah.
So for me, the way I formulated my trading strategy was, I took the quick scalping from Raja Banks. I
Mm-hmm.
took, some of the ICT models.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
took
yeah.
some of the,
You merged them into your
market
own
structure.
strategy,
Yep.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Basically, whatever trader, which every trader goes through, right? We take pieces of the puzzle and
Definitely,
we make it
definitely. Yeah,
our
yeah,
own
yeah, exactly, exactly.
story.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's when I started live streaming, and it's DC trading on YouTube, which
Yeah.
is how I slowly got affiliated with Finotive and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But um, because of Raja Banks,
Mm-hmm.
I started live streaming
Well, we saw the
purely
inspiration,
as
as you said. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
You
purely
started live
as
streaming. You go for it as well.
accountability, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he was like, if you have the guts to do it, put yourself out there, challenge yourself. Let's see you
Yeah.
become a profitable. I was like, all right, I got
Why
nothing to
not?
lose.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like two people are gonna come and boo me. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
let me just start it, right? And that's where my channel kicked off. We used to get about 200 to 250, 300 people coming in
Yeah.
at every London session.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say um, that's where I grew as a trader. Till that point, I would say I was a break-even trader.
Mm-hmm.
But from that point onward, with the accountability and the responsibility
Mm-hmm.
that I had on screen, that grew me into a profitable trader.
That's really nice. That's really nice to hear. What a nice story. Yeah. So as you said, you mentioned that you got into the technical analysis first, and you saw the
Yep.
pattern and the trading charts and a lot of stuff. So as you
Yep.
began your trading journey, okay, it's common for traders to focus, as we all know, like heavily on the technical aspect, as you did as well,
Yeah.
and
Right.
such as like the chart patterns, as I said, the indicators and stuff like that. However,
Yeah.
the psychological aspect of trading is very
Mhm.
important. And
Yeah.
so, can you reflect on whether you dedicated enough time, like to practice
Yeah.
emotional control and also psychological resilience, as we
Yep.
say, when you first started trading?
Yep, I would definitely say when we first started trading, it was a whole mess. You're a complete mess of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You see a green candle, or you see green numbers, you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
You see red numbers, you're tearing up and planning
Yeah,
for how
yeah,
you're going to, survive this trade or whatever. And so, as a trader, I would say that in the beginning, I didn't understand anything to do with psychology, because no one gets into trading through trading psychology.
yeah,
We
yeah,
always get
definitely.
into trading through profits only, right?
Yeah,
So, when you see anything but profits, you're psychologically doing, you're tricking yourself into something you've never seen before,
yeah, yeah,
because the way forex and trading is marketed is all profits alone.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's never marketed through its losses. So for me as a trader, I really struggled with that part, psychology, because for me every trade was like your last trade, because as for us, we were only trying to flip accounts, right? As aspiring binary option traders, we
Yeah,
were trying
yeah,
to flip accounts, right?
yeah.
um so with psychology, though I would say one of the ways that shaped my trading was, of course, I think the most basic way was reading trading books, which was the most famous book,
Hmm.
Trading in the Zone,
Yeah.
which I think every trader should
Should.
have read
Yeah.
that book,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you haven't read that book, like, we will question, whether you're
Exactly.
actually a
Yeah.
trader,
Yeah.
because that book is passed through everyone's hands. But that gives you a very good understanding of the mind of a trader,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It gives you a good understanding of that. And plus, then you had the people I was following, which is Raja Banks,
Uh huh.
his friend Capital Hungry,
Uh huh.
G1 from Capital Hungry, right? Which I did pick up a lot of fundamentals from Capital Hungry. But um, what I would say primarily as a trader, I had to come back to the basics of accepting wins and losses. I had to start accepting that yes, I'm not a perfect trader. I'm not a millionaire trader. If I was the goat, I would have been able to, you know, just make money. But I had to accept the fact that yes, now I'm a losing trader and I'm an aspiring trader.
Exactly. And
Many
this is gonna
people,
take time as well.
it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time.
Yeah.
And my parents luckily were very supportive of my journey. So they
Great.
said,
That's awesome.
stop looking for results in a day, looking for results in a year.
Hmm. Yeah.
Everyone's process takes time. There's no one who does it in 2-minute noodles.
Hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. So luckily my parents encouraged me, and I come from a Christian home, so
Hmm.
they instill a lot of values in you. And so for me, what gave me a very strong mind is my faith in God.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of people say don't mix trading, don't mix
Yeah.
spirituality and
It's gonna have
everything,
a big
but
impact as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
What I say is your spirituality and your relationship with God will not define your results in trading, but will define the
Yourself.
discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, the discipline in trading.
Hmm.
If you follow something that instills discipline and morals in you, then those morals translate into your career, translate into your aspirations, translate into your
Absolutely.
lifestyle,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. Uh huh.
So I would attribute my psychology to my Christian faith, where, even in what we do, God doesn't say that, everything you ask for, I'm not just going to hand it to you on a silver platter. We
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
hard, and only in hard work do we see results.
Hmm.
And, the losing times, the testing times are all tests to see whether you have the strength to make it through to the next level or through to the next phase of your trading journey, is what
Correct,
I would say.
correct, yeah, correct. So, as you said, while you were trading and being a beginner, you found yourself dealing with the losses and a lot of stuff in a way that probably was new to you as a person. So,
Yeah.
just taking it from there and asking, like, trading usually, often acts like a mirror, like we just see
Hmm.
ourselves in it. And,
Yeah.
like sometimes it's also said that trading can, how to say, like, reveal your true self by a percentage that is like close to 100%, if I might say.
Yep.
Could you just share some insights, if you can, about like how have you gained like about yourself and what have you gained about yourself through your experience in trading? Like what did you discover in yourself through trading?
Yep. Definitely. I would say trading reveals everything about a person's personality.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why is it close to 100%, then, isn't it?
Yep. And I would say definitely 100%. And especially it reveals who you are in private more than who you are in the public eye. Because, of course, for us as traders, most of it happens behind closed doors in front of a laptop or,
Yeah.
in front of screens. And so it really shows you who you are, what's your personality. So are you a disciplined person, are you an impulsive person, are you a vengeful person,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of personality traits do you have, so you know the some of the traits I mentioned were mostly negative, but it also shows you, are you a patient person,
Mm-hmm.
are you a very catalog kind of person, like a disciplined person.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I think for me personally, trading brought out a lot of bad habits.
yeah,
It
yeah.
exposed a lot of bad habits in me.
Definitely.
There are times where for us as traders, I think the number one problem we face is the gambler mentality,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And greed
We
as well sometimes.
Greed. Yep.
Yeah.
You go all in,
Mm-hmm.
right? For
Yeah.
no reason at all. You think the world's going to end. You think this next trade is going to make you a million,
Yeah.
and you go all in.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I noticed that character, which because you see all the money that forex YouTubers put out there.
Yeah, yeah.
You tend to start pushing yourself. But what I noticed was I was not as disciplined as I should have been. I wasn't sticking to my trade setups. I was pushing trades when I didn't have a setup.
Mm-hmm.
What I noticed was I was a person who was impulsive.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
New York Open candles pushing
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
so you start trying to buy,
Mm-hmm.
and then candle starts retracing and you get clapped.
Yeah, yeah.
So I I suddenly learned that I had all these bad habits that I needed to fix if I wanted to become profitable in the industry.
Yeah.
And so I would say trading really shows you who you truly are and who you truly can be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. It shows your future
So
self, 100%.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I understood. And with trading, you can't be arrogant,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because the markets humble you super quick.
Exactly, yeah.
One session and you'll be humbled. But it's so that's where I started, disciplining myself. And discipline didn't start with just the trading. Discipline started with the overall lifestyle. So
Yeah.
it started with the early morning wake up, early to bed, going to sleep. It started with the, spending my devotion time with God. It started with eating my food on time. You won't believe how much of a difference that made, because some of us take it for granted. We can eat whenever we want,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
living a balanced life and a disciplined life, what I noticed was I started waiting for my setups. When I started living a more disciplined life, I noticed that I wasn't hurrying at the charts.
Mm-hmm.
I felt more satisfaction from what I was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Well,
I
patience is
started
key.
being, yep,
Mm-hmm.
always. And I started being less impulsive. I started being less, gambler, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
And I started just risking what I could
I'm willing
afford to
to risk.
risk. And
Exactly.
that time it was just 1%.
Mm-hmm.
With Raja banks and all of them,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
1% risk a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you get to play with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so that's the discipline that I instilled. I took the good things from wherever I could take the good things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would say psychologically. That's how I developed as a trader.
Great. That's really nice to hear. So while you were speaking, I got that you had a very like many transitions, if I would say, in trading. You started with
Yep.
binary options, as you said, and then probably you went to demo accounts before starting in live accounts and stuff like that. So when you make that leap to trade in with live
Hmm.
accounts, like finding the right platform to use and also the broker to work with and prop firms is
Yeah.
very crucial, and like it has a big impact on your trading experience. So
Uh-huh.
how did you discover and decide to use like Finotive Funding as your trading platform?
Yeah, so luckily for me, I haven't had a bad experience as such with a broker, because
Mm-hmm.
the first brokerage I was introduced to was the all famous IC markets,
Mm-hmm.
which we would consider them, the biggest in our
Mm-hmm.
industry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the brokerage I used. But when funding came about, right? When funding came about, I was looking for prop firms and challenges to use. Of course, we know the other famous prop firms that
Yeah, yeah.
are in this space.
Mm-hmm.
And I started with my forex funds, companies like that. But then I wanted a prop firm that was professional with their dealings,
Yeah.
and was professional with the way they treat their traders, and also with realistic goals and achievements, that we could possibly achieve to get those accounts.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when I came across Finotive Funding, because I noticed a lot more professionalism in what they were doing. I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that, okay, this is a company which is here to stay. This is a company which has a lot to offer me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, let me try out Finotive Funding.
Yeah.
And that's where I slowly came over to Finotive Funding. I tried an account. I was happy with
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I received. I was happy with the way I was able to deal with the support and the people at Finotive.
Yeah.
And more than that, it was like so much of Finotive's website and everything is a lot more automated than other, funding
Exactly.
companies,
Yeah.
which
Correct.
now I would say they're slowly, climbing up. But y'all have progressed so much further,
Yeah.
from where y'all were, which
Mm-hmm.
they're now reaching.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really liked about Finotive Funding.
Yeah.
And
Especially with the
one
new
thing,
model of Finotive Pro accounts that is not
yep,
offered in the whole industry, and it's the first model
yep.
that we offer in the industry. So that's a game changer as well.
Definitely. I think Yeah, you're probably one of the first few platforms that offer a salary, right?
Yeah.
With your accounts, and that's amazing. But one thing that really sold me on Finotive was having their own empty server, their
Uh-huh.
MetaTrader server,
Yes.
which I believe is very important for a platform.
Hmm.
I do not like um, Traders Global when
Yeah.
I traded with my forex funds, which
Hmm.
I think a lot of traders are very vocal about
Yeah.
slippage and spreads and everything that went
Hmm.
down with them, which was horrific
Yeah.
when I was trading with them. But Finotive giving us raw spreads and everything was
Yeah.
fantastic because you can go back to some of my live streams and you can see that I compared Finotive to IC markets, and
Hmm.
you were pretty much on par with IC markets. And so
Yeah.
getting that in a pro firm with simulated capital, I was like, that's everything you could ask for, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
And also
yeah,
with Finitive
and
Markets being our own brokerage that offers us as well a
exactly.
MQ compliance with smooth experience, so that all merge in the best experience that a trader can have.
It's unparalleled. And
Hmm.
I think you were the first ones to get your own server almost, I think after FTMO and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we saw a wave of, prop firms slowly get their own servers. But
Hmm.
that's why I stuck with Finotive. For a very long time, I continued to work with Finotive, and I still do work with
Yeah.
Finotive closely as an affiliate. But um, I would say that Finotive is a very well structured company, which I enjoy. In the beginning, I was caught off guard
Yeah.
with Finotive by the responsible trading rules and
Hmm. Yeah.
different stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
which definitely caught me off guard. But uh, they support spoke to me, and then within a few weeks, that rule was removed,
Yeah.
which
Exactly.
was fantastic,
Hmm.
which shows that they listen to the traders
Yeah. Exactly.
and, they adapt to the conditions that the traders really like
Yeah.
without sacrificing what a profitable trader should really have to put up, to show. So that's what I really liked. And many times I think that the responsible trading rule was good,
Hmm.
even though like I was denied one of my phases
Yeah.
because of risking a little more percentage than I should have. I still think that was good because discipline is what builds a trader, and not prop firms is
Yeah.
what I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
understand.
so with the responsible trading rule, it disciplines the trader
Hmm.
to stop risking it for the biscuit, risking your daily drawdown for the, for just to get to the next phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I would say that's fantastic. And so coming to how I found out Finotive was in that whole period when, I was struggling with other firms. I
Yeah. Yeah.
wanted a firm which knew what they're doing.
Amazing. That's really great. And for traders who doesn't know that, we have removed stop loss rules and risk rules from our challenge accounts, but it still remains in our instant funding accounts. So going back to when you said that when you were a beginner trader, you were just unrationally placing trades in the open New York session and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So each trading session comes with its own dynamics, as we all know,
Yep.
and opportunities as well in the market. So from the Asian session to the American session, which do you find yourself most like comfortable in?
I would say I really don't look for the session anymore.
Uh huh.
I look for a setup.
Okay.
So I've stopped looking at sessions. For me now, I trade basically. I would say my average time of holding a trade is about 3 to 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I hold trades over a pretty long period of time. I would say, as per my own experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other people would say that's not long at all, but 3 to 9 days is my average, of holding a trade. And so that's why I really don't care much for whether it's a session.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, if there's a big news event coming out and if my trades are running in profits, then I would, close a trade or
Makes sense.
manage a
Absolutely.
trade.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I really don't look for sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I think where I found my profitability is in looking for the right setups
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than, because otherwise before I was just a London session trader,
Okay.
and I used to be like, okay, that 11:30 mark when London session
Mm-hmm.
opens, I want to be looking for something then.
Yeah.
But I noticed that
I
I
think that
make more
explains as
money.
well how we scheduled the meeting. You know, like after the London
Yeah,
session. That.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think finding profitability for me personally was having the discipline to hold my trades over a period of time
Mm-hmm.
and allow the process to work itself out rather than those quick 10 pip 12 pip scalps that
Yeah, yeah.
I would personally say is not a profitable trading strategy,
Mm-hmm.
with others would disagree with.
Yeah.
But um yeah, personally I like to hold my trades over a period of time. Minimum pip count I think would be 50 pips is what I potentially look for. So if I see a trade that wouldn't potentially give me 50 pips, I
You
don't.
don't go for it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
go for it. But I look at a minimum of 50 pips, and if it pushes further, well and good. But
Yeah.
as long as it hits 50 pips,
Mm-hmm.
then I close perhaps 75% of my trade. Let whatever bonus money
Great. So that,
make
that
me.
that makes me smell a bit of risk management and stuff like that. So yeah, moving along with it. So risk management, we
Yeah,
all know that it's a very like a cornerstone of successful trading, right? You agree with me in
100%.
that. And like, do you have a habit of always like setting up a stop loss or take profit as well? Like, what would you just describe your risk
Yeah.
management in general?
A stop loss is mandatory, and I think that is something that traders should not even bat an eye about. So many traders complain about this firm doesn't allow me to trade with no stop loss or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why are you trading without a stop loss?
Yeah.
Right? As a trader, you should have predetermined sets of risk that you're willing to put out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Alright.
It's you're not going to wear all your jewelry and walk down a lonely street,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's plain and simple. That's
True.
with trading also. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. More than that, you don't let your entire basket be exposed to the entire market.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why I always tell, especially the boys I mentor and everything, I always tell them a stop loss is an essential.
Mm-hmm.
It's an essential. Whether even if some people put ridiculous stops, whether it's 50 pips or 100 pips stop loss, which I personally find ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's at least they have a stop loss is what I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know
Uh-huh.
but for me personally, my stops don't cross more than 20 pips. I don't like to have a stop bigger than 20 pips,
Mm-hmm.
because then your risk to reward is kind of not there. And
Exactly. Yeah.
personally, I always look at risk to reward. My stop loss and my take profit risk to reward is very
That's
essential.
what every trader should look for, isn't it?
a
Yeah,
hundred percent
yeah, yeah. Well, that explains that with the risk management and the proper risk management, you can gain a lot of like a big consistency and be a successful trader. So that said, that consistency is a key in trading, and also yet it's very important also to adapt and refine your strategy as market conditions change and evolve as well.
Yeah.
So you as a trader, how do you maintain consistency in your trading while also adjusting your strategy when necessary? I would say. Mhm.
Yeah, so for me personally, I think last week I was watching another podcast and he said, uh, you have to see the higher time frame picture.
Definitely.
It's very important to see the higher time frame picture. And remember, the higher time frame doesn't flip overnight. The higher time frame doesn't change its structure
And
overnight.
history repeats itself.
Exactly. And so if we follow the higher time frame picture, I personally believe that we're able to catch more than we should, and we're able to do less than we should,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because what you're doing is following a higher time frame watching. You're
yeah.
just watching, and you're taking part in that. So for me personally, what I believe in my risk management plan and everything, and the way I take my trades is, um, there is a time where you approach certain areas of interest where you need to watch and observe. And there is a time when you're in ranges where you need to watch and observe.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like today, personally, we're looking at, the JPY pairs. Today, GJ, EJ, UJ all broke
Yeah.
highs from 10 years back, you know, and today we're making new highs on all the JPY pairs currently today, and which is amazing. Most people would have been selling at the resistances at the highs which
Yeah,
we have now
definitely. Yeah,
reached.
yeah.
But when you look at the higher time frame image and you see the monthly and the weekly candle, you know that for a fact there was a lot of strength going into that bullish push,
Definitely.
right?
Absolutely.
When
Yeah,
you look at the higher time frame picture of things, you will know when to trade and when not to trade.
definitely.
if price had come to the highest, consolidated, changed market structure on the lower time frames and stuff like that, then we could potentially look for sales from the highest
Definitely.
and from a resistance. But since the higher time frame image is showing you a very strong bullish market, you best be not clicking the sell button.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
Yeah.
that's how I determine when I should and when I shouldn't trade.
Yeah, great. That's really nice. One other thing, you said, so we were talking about the news and also the fundamental, the technical point of
Yeah.
view of being a trader as well, and your strategy from another side. So in the trading community, we often see that there is a divide between technical and fundamental traders.
Yeah.
And how would you categorize yourself in this community? Would you say that you're fundamental or technical, or both of them?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. It has to be both. I would say it's like learning to drive without learning to use the reverse gear, you know?
Definitely. Okay. That's a
It's
nice example to
yeah,
give.
yeah. It's many people think that driving is just accelerator and brake and a steering wheel that they turn around, right?
Yeah.
But driving is not that. Driving is understanding when the guy is going to cut in front of you, when
Yeah.
understanding the entire psychology around
Yeah,
driving,
yeah, yeah.
right? And that's where in trading a lot of people make the mistake of only learning these. I don't want to be rude, but these silly patterns, right? These silly patterns. Head and shoulders, teacup patterns, this and that. Yes, it does look like that at times. I wouldn't say it's completely ridiculous, but I would say you can't trade patterns in a market which is all constantly moving, right? In a market that's constantly changing. There's so many times we as traders have to adapt to those markets. And so I would say to be a well-rounded trader, to be a complete trader, you need to understand both sides,
Yeah.
technicals and fundamentals. Just
They
because
go
you're
together.
technicals, always, just because you're getting a head and shoulders in gold doesn't mean gold is going to sell off. What happens if US
Definitely.
drops another bomb? Gold's
Yeah.
going to fly again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
it's we need to understand that a trader is not a single aspect. A trader is every aspect: technical, fundamental, psychological, and discipline.
Yeah.
Those
Definitely.
are all those segments that make a trader.
Definitely, yeah. So, looking ahead, do you have
Yeah.
what are your future plans for example, scaling your trading activities, or do you have any specific trading plan in mind for the future?
So right now, my personal trading plan is um to keep moving forward with
Yeah.
the funding accounts and everything. Right now, I'm funded about 250,000 US dollars across a few firms, and that's helped me scale my personal trading a lot. But of course, the goal is to have $250,000 of my own personal capital, which is my goal for this year,
Yeah.
to convert that into my own personal account rather than having to rely on prop firms for a longer term perspective,
Yeah.
which I do see myself increasing my funding accounts,
Yeah.
right? That would be a plan to increase to perhaps $1 million in funding, hopefully, God willing, in funding, to then again continue with those consistent percentage gains. For me, most of my profit splits, I normally put it into my personal account. A lot
Uh-huh.
of it, I take
Yeah.
what I need. I put whatever I can into my personal account and slowly
Yeah.
grow it. Because I believe that we will come to a space where you have to be self-reliant. You have to have confidence in yourself, because
Definitely.
you you can lose an account tomorrow, but if you don't have money in the bank, you're not going to be able to buy another account, right?
Definitely.
But if you have your own personal account, you're still generating enough money for your lifestyle, for your day-to-day routine, for your rent, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me personally, my personal accounts keep me rolling with whatever needs I want, whatever, you know, PC, whether you need a PC or
Yeah.
100 monitors or whatever.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
as
Yeah. Yeah.
traders, we we
Definitely.
love we love technology,
Yeah.
and automotive, of course. And so that's why I would say, for me personally, I'm looking at scaling the funding, scaling the personal account.
Nice, amazing. So I think that was it talking to Samuel as a trader. Now we will move on and talk to Samuel as an affiliate. So
Yeah.
as an affiliate, and talking about this whole influencer, landscape and stuff. So
Yep.
we've lately seen in the industry that a lot of affiliates and also influencers try to run some fake accounts, fake groups,
Yep.
and yeah, and also like fake pages, fake profits, even to in order to generate numbers and be affiliate with
Yep.
companies. And with you saying that you got inspired and you started live trading, I think that's a big proof for not
Yeah.
faking anything and actually making
Yep.
real profit and everything. Can you just talk to me through your affiliate life and like experience as an influencer, as a trader as well?
Yeah, I would say getting into I wouldn't consider myself an influencer as
Mm-hmm.
such yet. I'm just
Okay.
a day trader, live streamer from India. But what I would say is the most important aspect is people look at your journey
Mm-hmm.
as a trader, especially because sometimes the money I generate in a day is some people's salaries from where I come from.
Yeah.
It's their entire yearly salary from where I come from,
Mm-hmm.
and so automatically people look up to you. And being an influencer, I would say, or even a public figure, like a person who people look up to you, and having hundreds and hundreds of people come into my live streams day in and day out, it definitely needs to be censored, is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Because we as people are accountable for what we put out there. We as people are accountable for what we entice people into. Because trading is a very uh, enticing occupation, I would say, which most people will seek, but
Yeah.
not many people will find. Um, and so for me as a trader, seeing Raja Banks show his profits, show his withdrawals and everything day in and day out, it inspired me to be that voice of truth in my space, in my area of influence.
Okay.
Where when I started live trading and taking trades on stream,
Mm-hmm.
it meant I couldn't fake anything. So when Rajabank started showing his MT5 terminal, I was like, oh wow, that's a next level of trust
Yeah.
or faith you can put
Agreed.
into people.
100%. Yeah.
And so I started bringing up my MT5 terminal also. It was, of course, it's tiny as compared to the other traders,
Yeah.
but it's all about being honest and genuine, showing people
And
that
it's the same
yes, I'm
process.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not a $1 million trader. I'm not anything of that sorts, but I'm a small trader willing to show you the real process,
And I might take the
And
same trade that as a million trader funded can take the trade. Yeah. It
exactly.
might be the same.
And so many times when I look at it, I see uh so many traders faking it. I've had so because of the community, I've grown a little more than 3,500
Mm-hmm.
subscribers on YouTube, and it's continuing to grow because of that small influence I've had. I've had companies message me and talk to me about marketing accounts,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting. I had not heard about a marketing account
Yeah.
till
Yeah.
that point,
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
and the funny part is I saw some of the influencers start trading with those companies, which shook me
Exactly. And you link
because
the dots and yeah.
yeah, you're like, how,
Mm-hmm.
why, and um, of course, I didn't work with many of those companies,
Yeah.
and because I never believed in faking it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to fake it till you make it. Be genuine, and you will make it. Is what I would say. Um, and so when I saw that marketing account, I was like, no go. And I said, let's be genuine and show them the real process. Yeah, maybe I may show only $150 in profit for the
Mm-hmm.
day,
Mm-hmm.
but that's
Genuine.
150 real dollars
Exactly. Yeah.
rather than a million fake dollars that someone stacked on gold
Yeah.
in a demo.
Yeah.
And so that's why I would say that personally, I think that, of course, the world is heading in a very interesting direction, but the genuineness of the forex industry is always been a question mark for everyone and will always continue to be a question mark. But I would say look for people who are going for regulated, genuine pro firms like and brokerages. Of course, pro firms are not regulated, but go for pro firms that are paying people out, giving people the necessary tools, and for brokerages that are regulated. The
Yeah.
number one thing I always ask influencers, like the amazing thing is, I've got to talk to a few influencers and account flip kings.
Yeah.
I've always asked them one question: why don't we do that on IC markets? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it hurts nobody.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt you, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we do the same? But you'll never see that happen. I think the only person I've ever seen flip an account is Pascal, which I've been a personal fan of him. I've learned a lot of fundamentals
Yeah,
from
yeah,
him
yeah,
also,
yeah.
and he's the only one who has flipped an account on IC
I see
markets.
markets.
Others, I've never seen
Seen
a
someone.
trader, and that is the proof of the pudding.
Yeah.
When you're able to do it in front of the world on a regulated brokerage, on a live account, that's the proof of your trading skill. And I always tell people, even if you're not $1 million trader, there's no pressure. There's no pressure. You're maybe we will not pay $1 million traders for a few years. There's no pressure. You're $100 trader. You're making $100. Most people will never make $100 a day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when
At
we
some
stick to
points.
that process,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Exactly.
always
With the
changes.
consistency, exactly, it always changes. Definitely. Uh, Finally, we came to the final part of the interview. What advice would you offer to traders and novice traders, especially, and in terms of developing the right mindset and also the mentality for trading? What would you
Yeah.
give them as an advice?
So that's a good question. I would say something a lot
Trade with Finotive,
more
guys.
different.
That's the greatest advice you can.
Trade with Finotive, yes. Uh, my best pro firm experience, I would say, with Finotive. The number one advice I would give people is, which would be a little different, is search for God, is what I would say.
Okay.
Uh, whichever God it is what I always say. Pray and one of them will answer. But what happens when you have a God? What happens when you have something to follow, where you have spirituality follow? It changes who you are in terms of your discipline, in terms of your morals, in terms of your lifestyle. Right? There's no religion that says go out and kill. There's no religion that says, go out and drink and get drunk and, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I've always seen religion and God give us morals and boundaries to work around.
Correct.
So, what I always tell my community is no smoking, no drinking, no substances, no late night parties. If we want to live this one life that we have to the best of our ability, right? If we already make terrible decisions, wrong judgments, in our normal conscience, in the best of our conscience, why would we choose for a moment to be in a lesser state of our consciousness?
That's another way to put it. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So I would never want to put myself in that position. So that's what I always say. Of course, to each their own. Please
Exactly.
do as you
Yeah.
please. But I would say for me personally, I've seen the most successful traders in the world have a God which they follow and have a disciplined lifestyle that leads them to success. I would say that a moralless, indisciplined lifestyle, you'll never be a successful trader. I've never seen a successful trader. I've seen excellent marketers.
Okay. Yeah.
We've
Yeah. Yeah.
seen amazing forex gurus and marketers do the nightlife, do the parties on the beach. We have not seen successful forex traders or traders in that matter of fact which have those lifestyles. So that's why I would say seek God, seek discipline, and seek values that will only improve you, not just as a trader. Remember, when you improve as a human being, when you improve as a man, as a woman, it will automatically improve every aspect, your spiritual aspect, your emotional aspect, your psychological aspect, your career, your physical health. Everything changes. Everything changes as a trader. That's why most traders, the most successful traders, will tell you two things: discipline, and that's waking up on time, sleeping early, and they will always tell you physical fitness,
Yeah.
right? And you see the best of traders always give thanks to a god, whether they're in the Middle East, whether they're in Europe,
Yeah.
whether whichever part of the world. They will always tell you those three aspects, that if you've taken care of your physical fitness and your spiritual life, it you're able to overcome any obstacle in your way,
Understood. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would tell traders: focus on the spiritual aspect and make sure you get your discipline, your physical and your psychological elements all in line, and you will find success. those who work hard will find success. Of course,
Definitely.
the number one advice is hard work.
Yeah.
That's unparalleled.
Pretty general.
That I
Yeah.
don't,
Exactly.
yeah, it
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
without saying. So yeah,
Exactly.
thank
Yeah.
you so much.
That was the first interview in the interview series of Finotive Funding. And until the next episode, happy trading, guys.